Why do betting companies always win? Always. Not usually, always. And by the time this video is over, you'll understand the real math behind it. The kind of math they never show you in those commercials where someone is celebrating a huge win, because for every person celebrating in that ad, somewhere there was a mathematics department that had already calculated exactly how much they were going to make from him before he even placed the bet. I've spent 25 years working with numbers, risk, and probability, and I'll tell you this, once you understand what's really happening, it's one of the cleanest, most honest business models on the planet. It's just dressed up to look like something else. Today, I'm taking that costume off. Here's where we're going. What odds really mean, and why they're never actually about predicting who will win. The one number every betting company builds its entire business around is called the VIG, or the juice, and once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. Why the World Cup is basically Christmas for these companies, and the one mental shift that protects you completely, whether you ever place a bet or not. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to ask you a question, and I genuinely want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's begin. Section 1. A personal connection / the wake-up moment. Alright, a quick story. Years ago, I had a friend, smart guy, good with numbers, worked in logistics. During a major tournament, he was betting on almost every match, small amounts, nothing crazy. And one night, completely excited, he said to me, "I'm basically breaking even. Some weeks, I'm even making a little profit." And I remember asking him one simple question. Over the entire season, are you actually ahead, or do you only remember the weeks you won? He went quiet, because that's exactly where the trick begins. Our brains remember wins in vivid detail and blur the losses. That's not a scam. That's simply how memory works. And betting companies understand that aspect of human psychology better than almost any industry in the world. So today, we're not talking about football. We're talking about the psychology and mathematics that allow this industry to keep printing money tournament after tournament, decade after decade. Section 2. What odds really are alright? First, let's understand what odds actually are. Because most people think odds are predictions. They're not. Odds are a price. Here's the difference. A prediction says, this team is more likely to win. A price says, this is exactly how much we need to charge you so that we come out profitable no matter what happens on the field. That's a completely different thing. Think about it like this. Imagine a man selling umbrellas on a street corner. He doesn't need to know whether it's actually going to rain. He simply needs to price the umbrellas high enough that whether it rains or the sun comes out, he's protected. That's the betting company. To them, the match result is simply the weather. They're not betting on the weather, they're selling umbrellas at the right price either way. Section 3. The VIG/juice. The real secret. Now here's the number that powers this entire industry, and once I explain it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. It's called the VIG, short for vigorish. Some people also call it the juice or the over round. Here's how it works in plain English. Imagine a match that's a true, honest 50-50 coin flip. If a betting company were completely fair, both sides would pay true, even odds. But they don't. They shave a little off both sides. So instead of offering perfectly fair payouts, the implied probabilities of both outcomes add up to more than 100%. That extra percentage, that's the house's share. Built in. Automatic. It doesn't matter who wins. And here's the beautiful and slightly frightening part of the business model. They don't need to predict the match correctly. They simply need enough people betting on both sides. That tiny slice, the VIG, guarantees they profit from the total betting volume regardless of the final score. It's exactly the same principle as a casino and a roulette wheel. The casino doesn't care which number you bet on. Red, black, 17, it doesn't matter. The house edge is built into the wheel before the first ball is ever dropped. Section 4. Why the World Cup is a goldmine. So why is a tournament like the World Cup such a massive event for these companies? Several reasons. And this is where it gets interesting. First, volume. Regular season betting is steady, but a tournament like this brings in people who normally never bet at all. Casual fans, people placing their first wager of the year because someone at work started a prediction pool. People betting emotionally because their country is playing. More total bets, more total volume, more VIG collected, even if the percentage never changes. Second, motion. And this is the part I really want you to think about. People don't bet on the World Cup with spreadsheets. They bet with their hearts. They bet on their own country, even when the odds clearly say otherwise. Because who wants to bet against their own team? It feels like betting against your own family at the holiday dinner table. Nobody wants to be that person. And betting companies know this perfectly well. Emotional betting is inefficient betting. And inefficient betting is exactly where those profit margins become their fattest. Third, parlays. During a tournament, companies heavily promote multi-leg parlays because every additional leg you add multiplies the advantage in the house's favor. One correct prediction offers decent odds. Stack 5 predictions together for a much bigger payout. And the real mathematical house edge compounds with every single leg. It looks exciting inside the app. Mathematically, it's almost murder. Section 5, the marketing trick, free bets and bonuses. Now let's talk about free bets and sign-up bonuses, because this is genuinely brilliant marketing, and I want you to appreciate the strategy even while I'm warning you about it. A free $100 bet looks like they're giving you money. They're not. They're giving you the appearance of free money, with strings attached, wagering requirements, restrictions on where you can use it, rules about which markets qualify, all carefully designed to keep you on the platform long enough for the natural mathematics of the VIG to start working on your real money too. It's exactly the same strategy as a casino giving you a free drink at the table. That's not generosity. It's a customer acquisition cost calculated down to the penny, because mathematically, they already know exactly what an engaged customer is worth over time. Section 6, the psychology of almost winning. Here's a psychological trick that fascinates me, even as someone who has spent a career studying these things, the near miss. Have you ever noticed that a losing bet that almost won, your team needed one more goal in stoppage time? Or your 5-leg parlay hit 5 picks and lost on the 6th? Somehow feels almost as exciting as actually winning. That's not an accident. It's been studied. It's intentional. The human brain processes near misses almost like partial victories, and that feeling convinces you to come back because you're so close to cracking the code, except there is no code to crack. That's the entire point of this video. The mathematics are structurally built into the system before the match even begins. A near miss isn't evidence that you're getting better. It's simply the mathematics doing exactly what they were designed to make you feel. Section 7, let's be honest. Should you ever bet? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you betting is evil, or that you're a terrible person because you put $5 on a match with your friends. That's not what this channel is about. And honestly, it's not realistic. Here's my genuine opinion. If you're doing it purely for entertainment, you've set aside a small amount you can genuinely afford to lose. You treat it exactly like buying a movie ticket. And you're completely comfortable losing every dollar because the fun is simply having something riding on the match. That's fine. Enjoy the game. But the moment you start thinking of it as an investment strategy or a real way to generate income, that's the moment you've mentally reclassified a carefully designed house edge product into something it was never intended to be. Nobody accidentally builds a business model this sophisticated, this profitable. For decade after decade, you're not smarter than an industry that has spent over a century refining this mathematics. Section 8, the real lesson, Baatsa, far beyond betting. And here's the lesson underneath all of this, the one that matters for your financial life far beyond football. Whenever you see a system where one side sets the price, controls the information, and profits regardless of the outcome, no matter how exciting the marketing looks, it is not structurally a fair game. That's true for betting. It's true for certain investment products. It's true for some trading signal subscriptions that constantly appear online. It's true for some guaranteed return schemes. Every time, ask the same question. Who sets the price? And do they profit even if I lose? If the answer is yes, you're not looking at an opportunity. You're looking at a very well-designed umbrella stand. Closing. Strong, warm, direct engagement. All right, here's the real scoreboard. Odds aren't predictions. They're prices. The VIG guarantees the house profits from total betting volume, not from correctly predicting the outcome. The World Cup supercharges that model through casual bettors, emotional betting, and parlays. And those free bonuses, they're marketing calculated down to the penny. Now I have a question for you, and I genuinely want your honest answer in the comments. Have you ever placed a bet during a major tournament just for fun, and how did it really go? Be honest, don't just tell me about the one time you won. I read every single comment, and I promise there's no judgment here. I just want the real story. And one more question. The quarterfinals are still underway. If you had to place one small bet purely for entertainment on one of the remaining teams, who would you pick and why? Leave your prediction below. Let's see whose reasoning actually holds up. If this changed the way you look at that betting app on your phone, even a little, subscribe, because that's exactly what we do here. We look beyond the flashy marketing and go straight to the real mathematics underneath it. I'll see you in the next video.